What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today, we are going to be getting into my 2026-2027 San Francisco 49ers season predictions. The Niners are a hot take team, in my opinion. Um, Before we get into my takes on the Niners and their off season, we got to look at the other two teams that we've predicted so far. We predicted the Rams, who right now have a 12-3 record, and the Cardinals, who have 1-14. These are obviously not including the games against the Niners, and then also Seattle, who's 3-1, the defending NFC West champs. We'll see if the Niners, a lot of people have them winning this division. We'll see if they're able to beat out these two teams, and the Cardinals, as you can see, just not going to be a threat here. But guys, just thinking about this Niners team in the offseason, a very controversial offseason. You know, you look at the pieces they added. I really did like the Osu trade, the defensive tackle from Dallas for a third-round pick, which will improve that pass rush, but I didn't really like anything else, honestly, from the offseason from the San Francisco 49ers, just to start out on a gloom note here. You know, you get Mike Evans, I get it, but Mike Evans is old, injury prone. You're adding another injury prone player to this team. And, you know, you lost Juwan Jennings. I would have much rather had Juwan Jennings, who is a much more reliable player who doesn't get as injury prone. I know Mike Evans is a better career player, but he's at the end of his career right now. And then you look at the Niners draft, just classic Niner drafts, huge reaches that I do not agree with. No first round pick. It was just a L draft, in my opinion, for the Niners. And this Niners team didn't really improve this offensive line. Maybe they brought in some depth pieces, but nothing that's going to move the needle from how bad it was last year. So, honestly, you guys, the Niners, I think, could be a much worse team than a lot of people think. But let's get into my predictions here. Starting out with week 1, they're playing the Rams. I'm going to give this to Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams in Australia, first game of the year. I just think the Rams will get it done. The Niners do play well against the Rams, but in Australia in week 1, I got the Rams getting the win. Then you get an easy matchup, Dolphins. I got the Niners beating the Miami Dolphins. And being able to beat the Cardinals to go on a 2-game winning streak. They have 3 home games in a row now playing the Denver Broncos. That's going to be a really fun matchup, Denver versus San Francisco. But I'm going to give this one to the Broncos. Bo Nix, I think, will be able to dissect that really mid defense there for the San Francisco 49ers. I know Bosa's back. I know Fred Warner's back. But, there's a lot of questions there. And then you got the Seahawks who, just looking at the past 2 games these two teams have played, Seattle has just dominated the Niners on all ends. I don't think it's going to end there. I think the Seahawks beat the Niners bad down there in Seattle. So then the Niners find themselves at 2-3, heading to a big game against the Commanders. I got them beating the Commanders in week 6 to get to 500 there, 3-3. The Commanders have a lot of question marks on that team as well. Brock Purdy will be able to play pretty darn good against a really bad defensive line for the Commanders. Then we go to week 7, the Falcons. That defense sucks. Kyle Shanahan will be able to just dissect that Falcons defense on the road, and the Niners will win and head into the bye week at 4-3. And that's not bad for the San Francisco 49ers to start out the year. Now, I will say this. At this point of the year, my biggest weakness for the Niners is injuries. I'm sorry. Niners fans can say all they want, like, oh, we're not winning because we get injured. I'm sorry, but the Niners just keep bringing players back that are injury prone, and the Mike Evans signing just tells me more about it. So will these injuries catch up for me? I think they will in a big way for the San Francisco 49ers, where I'm just going to say it. We're going to see a drop-off from the Niners to finish off the year. Just a little take there. So we get some injuries here. Just injuries happening as they always do. It's just it's just not even a prediction at this point. It's happened every year for the Niners. It's going to happen again. So week 9, the Niners play the Raiders. I got the Niners beating the Raiders there. Coming off a bye, Raiders, a team trying to figure things out. The Niners will be able to win that one. Then you got the Cowboys, really good offense against the Niners defense. I think Dak Prescott plays good in that game at home and gets the win. Then they go up against Kyler Murray's led Minnesota Vikings. And that defense for the Vikings is underrated. So I think that pass rush is going to be the factor in this game against that poor Niners defense offensive line. That's crazy. The Niners will play 2 games on the neutral site games in other countries in Mexico in this one. But I think the Vikings get the win. Seattle coming off a bye, heading down to San Francisco. Maybe this game will be closer than the first one, but I still think the Seahawks, a much better team, better depth, better roster overall, and especially with the injuries at this point, the Niners will be able to, or the Seahawks will be able to get the win. Then we got week 13, Niners versus Giants. I got the Giants pulling off this win. Jim Harbaugh team. I think this Harbaugh team will surprise some people. Then we got week 14. We got the Niners playing the Rams. I got the Niners. Actually, okay, so they snapped that 4-game losing streak. I got them beating the Rams to go to 6-7, a must-win game there. I just think the Niners play well against the Rams. It's a division rivalry game, better than they do against the Seahawks, as we saw last year. So I think that the Niners are going to be able to pull off an upset, and Purdy gets a big win. Week 15, though, Thursday Night Football, you got to play the Rams. Then you got to go against Justin Herbert. That's going to be tough for that Niners team that's banged up. I got the Chargers winning that one. Week 16, you got Niners versus Chiefs. Another tough matchup. Patrick Mahomes will dominate against that Niners defense. Mark my words. The Chiefs win that one. Eagles versus Niners. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the Eagles this year, as I am the Niners, but I do like the Eagles a little bit more in this one, mainly because of injury concerns for the Niners. And I think that at the end of the year, if this game was played early on in the year, I would pick the Niners any day. But Eagles get revenge from the playoff loss. Then we got Week 18. I'm sorry. At this point, the Niners are 6-10. It's a meaningless game. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals, division rival game, to pick up, to even out the season series. I mean, at that point, it's just meaningless. So, yeah. Okay, so you guys have witnessed one of my hotter takes this season. The Niners, I think, finished 6-11 this year. Do I think this team's better than 6-11 on paper? Yes, I do. My problem with the Niners is this team is injury prone. I said it before, and they got some tough games to start of the year. You know, they get these easier games, they'll get the win. But if they want to make the playoffs, they're going to have to take one of these games against the Rams, Broncos, Seahawks. They're going to need to win at least one of those games. I just don't see that happening. And then you look at this Niners team, just every year it's just old players that get injured at the end of the season. And this end of the year, they don't got a bunch of easy matchups like they did the last season where they were able to win, and Kyle Shanahan, with his excellent coaching, was able to cook up. I don't see that. I think at the end of the year, we got Cowboys who, you know, like you could say all you want about the Cowboys, but that offense is explosive. Then you've got the Vikings, so I have a lot of high expectations for the Vikings this year. Seattle, the defending champs. Giants on the road, who I think the Giants will surprise some people. You got the Rams, who actually gave them a win there in Week 14. Then you got the Chargers, who we all know Chargers are a good playoff team. You got Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. You got the Eagles, who made the playoffs last year. And then Week 18 is meaningless. So that's why I think that the Niners in their last, 8 games go 1-7, which will basically end their season. That's my hot take. I wonder what you guys think about it in the comments. But anyway, guys, Niners finished 6-11 on the year, a very disappointing season for San Francisco. If you want to be better Niners, get better trainers, or get players that aren't in their 30s always getting injured. But anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.